Well, this story was broken by Steve K, working for the transfernews.com website on the 31st of the recently concluded. Was it 31st? Yeah, 31st. But I took my time to obviously make some research on what the Italian reports are really saying, and I've gotten a little bit of concern on this, and I said, let me come up and obviously put it up. Kvaratskhelia is the player we are talking about. Arsenal have gone ahead to express their interest in this player, and if at all you know this player, you'll be excited that Arsenal are really going in for him. And this player is still a young player, and Napoli have found themselves in a situation of obviously having one of the best attacking talents in the world. At the age of only 22, this guy is really one of the best in the world, and I think he is one of those that you need to look at and obviously know what he has in his locker. A lot still in his locker, and he's a Napoli player, but Arsenal are interested in the player. But the likes of Real Madrid are also eyeing the player, Man City, Manchester United, and very many others. So welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're already watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. I go by the names of Rokani David. You can as well call me RD. Follow us on Twitter at Rokani Media FB to get more of the stories that you don't really wanna miss. So his main position is a left winger. He can also play as a right winger. He can also play into the central attacking midfield, and he plays with both foot. He can play well with his right foot and obviously play well with his left foot. But before Kvaratskhelia coming in through, we are discussing Harry Kane. His deal to Bayern Munich looking like it's still on and off, blowing hot and cold, but looks like Bayern are still keeping the foot on the table to get this deal over the line. And Ziyech, the latest about his next destination after failing his medical at Al Nassr. Sorry about it. So that is it, and let's start it off with this big story of Kvaratskhelia, a man who came out and obviously told us the real pronunciation of his name. Now, Steve K for the transfers.com has gone ahead and confirmed us that Arsenal have expressed interest in Napoli's highly rated attacker Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. Napoli previously rejected advances from the Premier League clubs for Kvaratskhelia, but that was when it was thought that Victor Osimhen was leaving. And after that, Ekrim Kona is another one. He's one of the global transfer experts, and he is always in Turkey. He has told us that Arsenal is making significant moves in the transfer market with plans to pursue both Napoli's Kvaratskhelia and Ajax's Mohamed Kudus. Now, let's talk about Kvaratskhelia. 22 years of age, Arsenal looking at him. Is this interest genuine? We are dubious about it, but in the transfer window, any transfer is really possible. Before the transfer window closes, don't rule out any transfer. If I tell you that Bukayo Saka is going to leave Arsenal to join Real Madrid, it's possible, because you never know the situation that's going to hate to cause such stories to come in through. When you look at Kvaratskhelia, is a player that goes straight into that Arsenal starting 11. And one will ask, how can that happen? You know, Martinelli is a very good player, but if you are a manager like Mikel Arteta and you've been taught by Pep Guardiola, you have to obviously live on this principle. Good is not good enough. So if Arsenal are going for Kvaratskhelia, it shows you that they are not contented with the output of Gabriel Martinelli. That is it. And if at all they can sell Gabriel Martinelli and obviously get in Kvaratskhelia, I think they can do it. Or if at all they can get in Kvaratskhelia to compete with Gabriel Martinelli, that will be the best for the team. If you've seen City thrive through all the years that Pep Guardiola has been here, they've been having what we call healthy competition into their team. Managers create what we call selection headaches, and these headaches help them to think further and obviously create new systems. Pep Guardiola is the master of this. He has always come out and obviously developed new systems to fit almost his best players in one lineup, because he knows what this is all about. you have to be having high quality players, and those high quality players have to get minutes to see that you keep your dressing room intact. But for Arteta, it has been one of those things he has not had ever since he joined Arsenal. And I think he's going to have his first selection headache at Arsenal this coming season. For example, when you look at Ben White, Tomiyasu, and Julian Timber, first selection headache. Second selection headache, Julian Timber, William Saliba. Third selection headache, Jakub Kiwior, Gabriel Magalhaes. Another selection headache, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, and Jorginho, who starts at the base of the midfield. The other one that Arsenal is trying to obviously create is between David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale. Who do you start? There is another one that has just developed, according to me. It's going to be Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli, who is going to start in those positions. Look at Kai Havertz, and Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and very many other positions. Who is he going to play in those positions first? So the selection headache that Mikel Arteta is creating himself is really positive. It's healthy, and it always defines what good teams are made of. Good teams are always made of high quality players. That's why for me I cannot rule out the move for Kvaratskhelia to Arsenal, because Arsenal has the money. People have always come out and really told us that Arsenal need to sell. Arsenal don't need to sell to get in players, because they've gone in for Mohamed Kudus, they've gone for David Raya, and those two transfers could cost Arsenal close to £70 million. But they've not sold any player apart from Jakub Kiwior and Granit Xhaka. They're also going to sell Trusty for £5 million. Matana might go. So Arsenal have the money. But the worry is, can Arsenal thrive with lots of stars at its side? Because Arsenal is a team that's not going to have to sign very many celebrity players, all high-profile players that will almost cause pressure to the manager when they are on the bench. Even the January transfer window, Jorginho, Trossard, Jakub Kiwior, when they were the bench, it was all okay. No one came in through to force Mikel Arteta or the cameras when they flashed those players. Pressure couldn't amass onto the thoughts of Mikel Arteta. But you bring in Kvaratskhelia, every time you start him, because you've brought him on good money, you need to please your bosses. Even if he performs shit, you don't get him out. I've seen it at Man United for Anthony. Eric Ten Hag sanctioned the move of Anthony, but every time Anthony really had a very bad display, Eric Ten Hag has continued to keep him on the field of play to see it that he convinced his bosses that I made the sanctioning of that player to come to Man United, and it's the right player. Because if you bring in a player at high cost and doesn't obviously perform well, how will you explain to your bosses? That means you are losing trust to them. So Kvaratskhelia, if he comes in at Arsenal, he gets straight into that Arsenal side. Now, the question is, do you think this was a trick that Arsenal used to convince Gabriel Martinelli and offer him £189,000 a week, with his deal extended to 5 more years at Arsenal, to see to it that he can obviously be an understudy for Kvaratskhelia? That is the big question, because you can't get in Kvaratskhelia, when you're having Gabriel Martinelli who poured in those goals. And another question, is Mikel Arteta looking at Leandro Trossard as a player to play in the midfield three of Arsenal this season? That is it, because he has tried him out in like 2 or 3 games that Arsenal are going to have to play in their pre-season. So very many questions are going to be left, but for me, I believe Kvaratskhelia can obviously help Arsenal a lot. And the other side, or the other question that comes in through, is Mikel Arteta looking at Kvaratskhelia as what we call a 3 or 4 dimensional player at the club of Arsenal because of his versatility. He can also play well as a right attacking midfielder or a right winger or a right forward, where Bukayo Saka plays. So let's wait and see the aftercomings after the story was put out by Ekrem Kona and Steve K about Kvaratskhelia to Arsenal. But Arsenal are interested in the player, and in the transfer window, no news is false until proven that it's false. But he has hinted on something that at the beginning of the transfer window, Kvaratskhelia was not looked at as a player who is going to be sold, because they thought very many teams are going to come into Victor Osimhen and obviously getting the monies. But after Victor Osimhen being on the brink to really agree a new contract with Napoli, but he wants a buyout clause included into his contract, Napoli are now okay to sell Kvaratskhelia. But wait and see how that deal of Kvaratskhelia is obviously going to go on about. But it looks like Mikel Arteta wants to get in world-class players at his side. Now, yesterday, we all knew that Bayern Munich bosses were supposed to fly to the United Kingdom to meet Daniel Levy to discuss the deal of Harry Kane. But David Austin told us that no agreement reached in today's meeting between Bayern Munich and Tottenham Hotspur over a proposed transfer of Harry Kane. But talks continue. As things stand, FC Bayern Munich are £25 million short of what it could take for Tottenham Hotspur to consider the sale. Bayern Munich and Tottenham Hotspur were around £25 million apart in the valuation of Harry Kane after talks in London on Monday. Representatives of both clubs met to discuss the transfer of the forward, and discussions are said to continue. When you look at Harry Kane, you understand that he wants to win trophies, and this is one of those things that has gone well for the player. But at this juncture, you have to really put yourself in the feet of Bayern Munich. You know, if a player has said he's not going to renew his contract, that means Spurs don't have a strong stance onto his transfer. They should be dancing to the tunes of Bayern Munich and how much money they're offering them. I know why they are playing the L game, because they anticipate that maybe Man United could make some good sales and obviously get these players, get money in, so to it that they can come in and obviously enter this battle. And for Spurs, if a bidding war opens up, it will be the biggest story ever for them, so to it that they find themselves in a situation of really pressing Bayern Munich to get them the best that they deserve. But for Harry Kane's status, he doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to stay at Spurs. He believes he's 30. This is his only chance to go on and really win what we call a league, compete in the Champions League, and obviously lift some big trophies for that side of Bayern Munich. And Bayern are also pressing it hard to get in the player of the caliber of Harry Kane. But wait and see how that happens. But with lack of options and Spurs negotiating with only Bayern Munich, that has obviously reduced their bargaining power into this. Because if at all there was another second force, then Spurs would have been able to negotiate on all fronts to see that they get in the best of the monies they deserve. But all this has gone ahead to accelerate after the majority shareholder of Tottenham Hotspur, known as Jim Lewis, ordered Daniel Levy to sell Harry Kane. Sell Harry Kane, get in those monies, and obviously we get in new players. And I've seen a story coming in from Barcelona that if Spurs sell Harry Kane, they are willing to spend some money on Frank Kessié and Lenglet. Remember, Lenglet had a long season loan at Spurs, and Barcelona might want close to 30 million euros, and for Frank Kessié they might really welcome like 20 or 25, meaning that 50 million euros will be really good for them. And one will ask that, does that really fulfill the position of Harry Kane? I think if you are Tottenham Hotspur, it's better not to rush into getting a forward who is really accomplished. It's better you strengthen the positions you feel like you need to strengthen, and then see to it that you can get maybe a striker that is not known, and then you nurture him into a very good forward. Because when you look at Richarlison, the shot they made to sign him has not gone ahead to pay off, because to me Richarlison has not gone ahead to score more than one Premier League goal in his debut season. That is so much worrying for the player of Richarlison, but it's his chance now. It's his chance now to lead the line of Spurs, because Harry Kane is really leaving. And I think with the playing style that Ange Postecoglou was going to hate to bring in at Spurs. It would benefit Richarlison to bang in those goals. Then lastly, Jacobs Ben has gone ahead and obviously told us that Hakimi Ziyech still has options in Saudi Arabia after his Al Nassr move stalled. Al Ahly originally considered reviving the deal, and now Al Shabab also interested. The Moroccan winger would like to return to Ajax, but his salary demands are an issue. That is it. So for Hakimi Ziyech, I think these are problems that players really face, and if you are Ziyech, you'd obviously understand that things don't happen as you want them to happen. When he came in through at Chelsea from Ajax, by the time Erik ten Hag was still the manager, he had a very good Champions League display, and that's why Frank Lampard went in for him. However much he never really shined under Frank Lampard, under Tuchel, under Graham Potter, and Frank Lampard, the return, that doesn't deny him to be a very good player, because you saw his qualities at the World Cup. He showed us his pure qualities in there for you, and very many teams are interested in him. But the injury blocked his move to Al Nassr, and I think would love to get him some good money in there. Even though he wants to go back to Ajax, his salary demands are really huge. But good thing is that 2 more teams in Saudi Arabia have gone ahead to show interest to sign the lad. So guys, your thoughts onto Arsenal interested in Khvicha Kvaratskhelia are welcome in the comment section below. Would you fancy Arsenal to go in for this Georgia international? Yes or no? And what do you think about Martinelli's position and where this transfer really leaves him? Then what do you make about Harry Kane? No agreement reached, and they are still £25 million apart from the asking price of Tottenham Hotspur. And lastly, Hakimi Ziyech. Do you think he's going to stay in Saudi Arabia or is going to return to Ajax? Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. May the living true God bless you abundantly. My Muslim viewers and subscribers, Ramadan, it's not Ramadan, Barakallahu Fikum guys. See you later in the next 1 or 2 hours. It might be a live stream here on this channel as we really bring to you something coming in from Arsenal again. I'm out.